Some zombie contingency plans. This is a story about being lost in the woods. This guy Soap is at a party out in the suburbs. The thing you need to know about Soap is that he keeps a small framed oil painting in the trunk of his car. The painting is about the size of a paperback novel. Wherever Soap goes, this oil painting goes with him. But he leaves the painting in the trunk of his car because you don't walk around a party carrying a painting. People will think you are weird. Soap does not know anyone here. He is crashed the past, which is what he does know now. When he feels lonely, weekends he just drives around the suburbs until he finds one of those summer free-ride parties that are so big that they spill out onto the yard. Kids are out on the lawn of a two-story house, lying on the damp grass and drinking beer out of plastic cups. Soap has brought along a six-pack. It's the least he can do. He walks through the house, past four black guys sitting all over a couch. They are watching a football game and there's some music on the stereo. The television is on mute. Over by the TV, a white girl is dancing by herself. When she gets too close to it, the guys on the couch start complaining. So finds the kitchen. There's one of those big professional ovens and a lot of expensive looking knives stuck to a magnetic strip on the wall. It's funny. Soap thinks how expensive stuff always looks more dangerous. He pokes around in the fridge and finds some pre-sliced cheese and English muffins. He grabs 3 slices of cheese, the muffins, and puts the beer in the fridge. There's also a couple of sticks, and so he takes one out, heats up the broiler. A girl wanders into the kitchen. She is black and her hair goes up, and on top are their sturdy, springy curls like little waves, to top of her architectural haircut. She is as tall as Soap. She has eyes the color of an iceberg. There's a heart-shaped rhinestone under one green eye. The rhinestone winks at Soap like it knows him. She is gorgeous, but Soap knows better than to fool around with girls who are not out of high school yet. Maybe. What are you doing? She says. Cooking a steak. Soap says. Want one? No, she says. I already ate. She sits up on the counter beside the sink and swings her leg. She is wearing a bikini top, pink shorts and no shoes. Who are you? She says. Will, Soap says. Although Will is not his name. Soap is not his real name either. I'm Carly, she says. You want a beer? There's a beer in the fridge, Bill says, and Carly says, I know there is. Bill opens and closes drawers and cabinet doors until he has found a plate, a fork and a knife and garlic salt. He takes his steak out of the oven. You go to state, Carly says. She pops off the beer top against the lip of the kitchen counter and Bill knows she is showing off. No, Bill says. He sits down at the kitchen table and cuts off a piece of steak. He's been lonely ever since he and his friend Mike got out of the prison and Mike went out to see her. It's nice to sit in a kitchen and talk to a girl. So what do you do? Carly says. She sits down at a table across from him. She lifts her arms up and stretches until her back cracks. She's got nice tits. Nobody in prison ever said. So what did you do? Unless they were going to mess with you. They already knew what you did. Bill supposes this girl with tits wants to mess with him. That's okay. Telemarketing, Bill says, and Carly makes a face. That sucks, she says. Yeah, Bill says. No, it is not too bad. I like talking to people. I just got out of prison. He takes another big bite of steak. No way, Carly says. What did you do? Will chews his feathers. I don't want to talk about it right now. Okay, Kali says. Do you like museum? Bill says. She looks like a girl who goes to museum. Some drunk white kid wanders into the kitchen. He says, "Hey," to Bill, and then he lies down on the floor with his head under Kali's chair. "Kali, Kali, Kali," he says. "I'm so in love with you right now. You are the most beautiful girl in the world, and you don't even know my name. That's hurtful." "Museum are okay," Kali says. "I like concerts, jazz, improvisational comedy. I like stuff that is not the same every time you look at it." "How about zombies?" Bill says. "No more steak." He mops up meat juice with one of the muffins. Maybe he could eat another one of those steaks. The kid with his head under Kali's chair says, "Kali, Kali, Kali. I like it when you sit on my face, Kali." "You mean like horror movies," Kali says. "The Living Dead," says the kid under the chair. "The Walking Dead. Why do the dead walk everywhere? Why don't they just catch the bus?" "You still hungry?" Kali says to Bill. "I could make you some cinnamon toast or some soup. They could carpool." The kid under the chair says, "Hey, I don't know why they call carpools. It's not like there are cars with swimming pools in them. Because people might drown on their way to school." "What a weird word, carpool. Carpool. Kali's pool. There are naked people in Kali's pool, but Kali is not naked in Kali's pool." "Is there a phone around here?" This is. "I'm thinking I should call my dad. He is having open heart surgery tomorrow." A man is lost in the woods. He is running away from something. Under the trees, deep inside the woods, there is a house, and beside the house is a graveyard. No one is in the house, and all the graves are empty too. Someone has dug them up. Someone has climbed out of the graves and gone away. It's not his name, but let's call him so. That's what they called him in prison, although not for the reasons you are thinking. When he was a kid, he had read a book about a boy named Soap, so he did not mind the nickname. It was better than oatmeal, which is what one guy ended up getting caught. You don't want to know why oatmeal got caught. Oatmeal. It would not put you off oatmeal. So was in prison for 6 months. In some ways, 6 months is not a long time. You spend longer inside your mother. But 6 months in prison is enough time to think about things and all around you. Everyone else is thinking too. It can make you a bit crazy, wondering what other people are thinking about. Some guys thought about their families and other guys thought about revenge or how they were going to get rich. Some guys took correspondence courses or fell in love because of what one of the volunteer art instructors said about one of their watercolors. Soap did not take an art course, but he thought about art. Art was why soap. This sounded romantic, but really it was not just stupid. Even before Soap and his friend Mike went to prison, Soap was sure that he did had opinions about art. Even though he had not known much about art, it was the same with prison. Art and prison are the same thing. Art and prison are the same thing. He knew what he liked when he saw as it had turned out. He knew what he liked even when he could not see it. Museums gave him hiccups. He had hiccups a lot of time while he was in prison. Great art came out of great suffering. Soap had gone through a lot of shit because of art. There was a difference between art, which you just look at, and things like soap, which you used. Even if the soap smelled so good that you did not want to use it on your smell. This was why people got so pissed off about art. because you did not eat it, and you did not sleep on it, and you could not put it up your nose. A lot of people said things like that's not art when whatever they were talking about could clearly not have been anything else except art. When Soap got tired of thinking about art, he thought about zombies. He worked on his zombie contingency plan. Thinking about zombies was less tiring than thinking about art. Here's what Soap knew about zombies. Zombies were not about sex. Zombies were not interested in art. Zombies were not complicated. It was not like werewolves or ghosts or vampires. Vampires, for example, were the upper middle management of the supernatural world. Some people thought of vampires as rock stars, but really they were more like Martha Stewart. Vampires were fishy. They had to follow rules. They had to look good. Zombies were not like that. You could not exercise zombies. You did not need luxury. Items like silver bullets or crucifixes or holy water. You just shot zombies in the head or set fire to them or hit them over the head really hard. There were some guys in the prison who knew about that. There were guys in the prison who knew about anything you might want to know about. There were guys who knew things that you did not want to know. It was like a library, except it was not. Zombies did not discriminate. Zombies did not discriminate. Everyone tasted equally good as far as zombies were concerned. And anyone could be a zombie. You did not have to be special or good at sports or good looking. You did not have to smell good or wear the right kinds of clothes or listen to the right kind of music. You just had to be slow. Soap liked this about zombies. There is never just one zombie. There was something about clowns that was worse than zombies. Or maybe something that was the same. When you see a zombie, you want to laugh at first. When you see a clown, most people get a little nervous. There's the pallor and the cakey Mortician style makeup, the suffering and the untidy hair. But clowns were probably malicious, and they moved fast on those little bicycles and in those little cramped cars. Zombies were not much of anything. They did not carry musical instruments, and they did not care whether or not you laughed at them. You always knew what zombies wanted. Given a choice, Soap would pick zombies over clowns any day. There was a white guy in the prison who had been a clown. Nobody was sure why he was in prison. It turned out that everyone in a prison had a zombie contingency plan. Once you asked them, just like everyone in prison had a prison escape plan. Only nobody talked about those. Soap tried not to dwell on escape plans, although sometimes he dreamed that he was escaping. Then the zombies would show up. They always showed up in his escape dreams. You could escape prison, but you could not escape zombies. This was true in Soap's dreams, just the way it was true in the movies. You could not get any more true than that. According to Soap's friend Mike, who was also in prison, people worried too much about zombies and not enough about icebergs. Even though icebergs were real, Mike pointed out that icebergs were slow like zombies. Maybe you could adapt zombie contingency plan to cope with icebergs. Mike asked Soap to start thinking about icebergs. No one else Somebody had to plan for icebergs, according to Mike. Even after Soap got out of prison, when it was much too late, he still dreamed about escaping from prisons. So whose house is this, anyway? Bill asked Carly. She is walking up the stairs in front of him. If he reached out just one hand, he could untie her bikini top. It would just fall off. This girl, Carly says, and proceeds to relate a long, sad story. A friend of mine, her parents took her to France for this bicycle tour. They are into Aimee. This trip is some kind of bonus. Like her father sold a bunch of water filters and so now everyone has to go to France and build their own bicycles. In Marseille, isn't that lame? She can't even speak French. She's a Francophile. She's a klutz. Her parents don't even like her. If they could have, they would have left her at home. Or maybe they will leave her somewhere in France. Shit. Would I love to see her try and ride a bike in France? She will probably fall right over the Alps. I hate her. We were going to have this party and then she said I should go ahead and have it without her. She is really pissed off at her parents. Is this a bathroom? This is. Hold on a minute. He goes in and takes a piss. He flushes and when he goes to wash his hands, he sees that the people who own this house have put some chunk of fancy soap beside the sink. He sniffs the soap, then he opens up the door. Carly is standing there talking to some Asian girl wearing a strapless dress with little tiny fake plastic flowers all over it. It's too big for her in the bust, so she is holding the front out like she is waiting for someone to come along and drop a bezel in it. Bill wonders who the dress belongs to and why this girl would want to wear on an ugly dress like that. Anyway, he holds out the soap. Smells this. He says to Carly and she does. What does it smell like? I don't know, she says. Marmalade, lemongrass, Bill says. He marches back, opens up the windows. There's a swimming pool down there with people in it. He throws the soap out the window and some guy in the pool asks, hey, why did he do that? The girl in the hall says. Carly starts laughing. Everywhere you go in the woods, you can hear things moving around. Maybe there are wolves or robbers, or enormous spiders or little children with knives. Maybe there are beautiful women living in the trees. Maybe they are living in the trees so that zombies can't get them. Just like Robin Hood, the woman in the trees throw chunks of soap at the zombies and make up songs about how dumb the zombies are. They stand on branches, pull down their pants, and pee right on top of the zombies. Those zombies don't even notice. Soap's friend, Mike, had a girlfriend named Danny. Jenny never came to see Mike in prison. Soap felt bad about this. Soap's dad was living in New Zealand, and every once in a while Soap got a postcard. Soap's mom, who lived in California out near Manhattan Beach, was too busy and too pissed off with Soap to visit him in a prison. Soap's mom did not tolerate stupidity or bad luck. Soap's older sister, Becca, was the only family member who ever came to visit him in prison. Becca was an actress waitress who had once been in a long-budget zombie movie. Soap had watched it once and was not sure which was stranger, seeing your sister naked or seeing your naked sister get eaten by zombies. Becca was almost good-looking enough to be on a reality dating show, but not funny-looking or sad enough to be on one of the makeover shows. Becca was always giving notice, so then their mom would buy Becca a round-trip ticket to go visit Soap. Soap figured he was supposed to be an example to Becca. Find a good job and keep it, or you will end up in a prison like your brother. Becca might have been average in LA, but average in LA is queen of Mars in the visiting room of a federal penitentiary in North Carolina. Guys kept asking Soap when they were going to see his sister on TV. Soap's mom owned a boutique right on Manhattan Beach. It was called Throat. Becca and Soap called it Wash Your Mouth. The boutique sold soaps and shampoos, nothing else. The soaps and shampoos were supposed to smell like food. What the soaps really smelled like were there were those candles that were supposed to smell like food, but which smelled instead like those air freshener which hangs from the rear. Like looking behind you smells like strawberries, like making a clean getaway. Smells the same as the room freshener soap and Becca used to spray when they had been smoking their mother's pot before she got home. Once when they were in high school, Soap and Becca had bought a urinal cake. It smelled like peppermint. They had taken the urinal cake out of its packaging and put it in a fancy box with some tissue paper and a ribbon. Soap had wrapped it up and given it to their mother for Mother's Day. Told her it was a pumic soap for exfoliating feet. Soap that smelled like soap. His mom was always sending care packages of soaps that smelled like olive oil and neroli and peppermint and brown sugar and cucumber and martinis and toasted marshmallows. You were not supposed to have bars of soap in prison. If you put a bar of soap in a sock, you could hit somebody over the head with it. You could clobber somebody. But Becca made an arrangement with the guards in the visiting room, and the guards in the visiting room made an arrangement with the guards in charge of the mail room. Soap gave out his mother's soap to everyone in prison, whoever wanted one. It turned out everyone wanted soap that smelled like food. Social worker and prison guards and drug dealers and murderers and even people who had not been able to afford good lawyers. No wonder his mom's boutique did so bad. While Soap was in prison, Becca kept Soap's painting for him. Sometimes he asked and she bought it with her when she came to visit. And he made her promise not to give it to their mother, not to pawn it for rent money, to keep it under her bed where it would be safe as long as her roommate's cat did not sneak in. Becca promised that if there were a fire or an earthquake, she would rescue the painting first, even before she rescued her roommate or her roommate's cat. Carly kicked Bill into a bed. There's a big painting of a flower garden, and under the painting is a king-size bed with dresses lying all over it. There are dresses on the floor. Go ahead and call your dad. Carly says, I will come back in a while with some more beer. You want another beer? Why not? Bill says. He waits until she leaves the room and then he calls his dad. When his dad picks up the phone, he says, Hey dad, how is it going? Junior, his dad says, How is it going? Did I wake you up? What time is it there? Junior says. Does not matter, his dad says. I was working on a jigsaw puzzle. No picture on the box. I think it's Remeo's or maybe Vintu's staying out of trouble. Super, his dad says. That's it. I was thinking about that thing we talked about how I could come visit you sometime. Junior says, sure, his dad says. That would be great. Get out of that fucking country while you still can. Come visit your old dad. We could do father-son stuff. Go bungee jumping. The girl in the plastic flower dress marches into the bedroom. She takes the dress off and drops it on the bed. She goes into the closet and comes out again holding a dress made out of black and purple feather. It looks like a dancer in Las Vegas might wear when she got off work. Some girls just came in and took off all her clothes. Junior says to his dad, Well, you give her my best. His dad says and hangs up. My dad says hello. Junior says to the naked girl. Then he says, My dad and I have a question for you. Do you ever worry about zombies? Do you have a zombie contingency plan? The girl just smiles like she thinks that's a good question. She puts the new dress on. She walks out. Will calls his sister. But Becca is not answering her cell phone. So Will picks up all the dresses and goes into the closet. He hangs them up. People clean up after themselves. Zombies don't. In Bill's opinion, zombies are attracted to suburbs the way that tornadoes are attracted to trailer parks. Maybe it's all the windows. Maybe houses in suburbs have too many windows and that's what drives zombie nuts. If the zombies showed up tonight, Bill would barricade the bedroom door with a heavy oak dresser. Bill, let the naked girl first come in. Carry too. The three of them will make up a rope by tying all those dresses together and escape through the windows. Maybe they could make wings out of that feather dress and fly away. Bill could be the bird man of suburb guitars. Bill looks under the bed just to make sure there are no zombies or suitcases or that drunk guy from downstairs under there. There's a little black kid in Superman pajamas curled up asleep under the bed. When Becca was a kid, she kept a suitcase under the bed. The suitcase was full of things that were to be rescued in case of an earthquake or a fire. The suitcase's secondary function was using up some of the dangerous dark space under the bed, which might otherwise have been inhabited by monsters or dead people. Here be suitcases. In the suitcase, Becca kept a candle shaped like a dragon, which she had bought at the mall with some birthday money and then could not bear to use a candle, a little ceramic dog, some favorite stuffed animals, their mother's charm bracelet, a photo album, Black Beauty, and a whole lot of other horse books. Every once in a while, Becca and her little brother would drag the suitcase back out from under the bed and sort through it. Becca would take things out and put other things in. Her little brother always felt happy and safe when he helped Becca do this. When things got bad, you would rescue what you could. Modern art is a waste of time. When the zombies show up, you can't worry about art. Art is for people who were not worried about zombies. Besides zombies and iceberg, there are other things that Soap has been thinking about. Tsunamis, earthquakes, Nazi dentists, killer bees, army ants, etc. etc. Soap has been afraid of all these things at one time or another. Ever since he went to prison, he has realized that he does not have to be afraid. All he has to do is come up with a plan. Be prepared. It's just like the Boy Scouts. Except you have to be even more prepared. You have to prepare for everything that the Boy Scouts did not prepare you for, which is pretty much everything. Soap is a waste of time too. What good is soap in a zombie situation? You can't eat it, and despite those prison rules about soap, it really does not make a good beaver. Soap sometimes imagines himself trapped in his mother's soap boutique. Zombies are coming out of the surf, dripping wet, helplessly hungry, always so fucking slow, suffering hopelessly up through the sand of Manhattan Beach. Soap has barricaded himself in float with his mother and some blonde Japanese tourist with surfboards. Do something, sweetheart, his mother implores. So sweetheart throws water all over the floor. There's the surfboards, a baseball counter, some rows of quarters and a swordfish mounted up on the wall. But sweetheart decides the cash register is best for Basie. He tells the Japanese tourists to get down on their heads and knees and rub soap all over the floor. When the zombies finally find a way into float, his mother and the tourist can hide behind the counter. The zombies will slip all over the floor and sweetheart will bash them in the head with the cash register. It will be just like a Busby Berkeley zombie musical. Wait, sweetheart thinks that does not work. He needs some kind of super sticky shoes so he does not slip on the soapy floor. What's going on? Carrie says. How's your father doing? He's fine, this is. Except for the open heart surgery thing. Except for that, he is good. I was just looking under the bed. There's a little kid under there. Oh, Carrie says. Him. That's the little brother of my friend Rebode mom Aimee. I'm taking care of him. He likes to sleep under the bed. What's his name? Bill says. Rio, Kali says. She hands Bill a beer and sit down on the bed beside him. So tell me about this present thing. What did you do? Should I be afraid of you? Probably not. Bill says. It does not do much good to be afraid of things. So tell me what you did, Kali says. She bursts so loud that Bill is amazed that the kid under the bed does not wake up. Rio, this is a great part, Bill says. Thanks for hanging out with me. Somebody just puked out of a window in the living room. Someone else almost threw up in the swimming pool, but I got them out in time. If someone throws up on the piano, I am in big trouble. You can't get puke out from between piano keys. Bill thinks Kali says this like she knows what she is talking about. There are girls who have had years of piano lessons, and then there are girls who have taken piano lessons who also know how to throw a party and how to clean throw up out of a piano. There's something sexy about a girl who knows how to play the piano and keys that stick for no apparent reason. Bill does not have any zombie contingency plans that involve pianos. I will help you clean up. Bill says, if you want. You don't have to try so hard, you know. Kali says, she stares right at him. Like there's a spider on his face or an interesting tattoo. Some words spelled upside down in a foreign language that she wants to understand. Bill does not need tattoos. As far as he is concerned, tattoos are like art only worse. Bill stares right back. He says, when I was at this party outside Kansas City, I heard this story about a kid who threw a lot of parties while his parents were on vacation. Right before they got home, he realized how fucked up the house was, and so he burned it down. This story always make Bill laugh. What a dumb kid. You want to help me burn down my friend's house? Kali says. She smiles. Like what a good joke. What a nice guy he is. What time is it? 2. If it's 2 in the morning, then you have to tell me why you went to prison. It's like a rule. We have known each other for at least an hour, and it's really don't know why you were in prison, even though I can tell you what to tell me, or otherwise you would not have told me you were in prison in the first place. Was what you did that bad? No, Bill says. It was just really stupid. Stupid is good, Kali says. Come on, pretty please. She pulls back the cover on the bed and crawls under it. Pulls the sheet up to her chin. Good night, Kali. Good night, Kali's gorgeous lips. It was so small and it was so far away, even when you looked at it up close. Soap said it was trees. A wood, Mike said it was a painting of an iceberg. The woods are full of holes, and at night people fall into them. In the woods there are stone towers with no doors. Birds fly in and out the windows, bringing sandwiches and Twinkies to the people who live in the towers in the woods. The woods are full of berry bushes and deers, and ground is covered with thick carpets of reddish moss. There are little gaunt bones and white flowers shaped like stars everywhere. The snow is piled up in deep drifts as if the trees are slowly sinking. It's so cold. Someone has carved the trees out of thick blue ice. The snow is veined with long clotted streaks of blood. No matter how far you walk, you never get any closer to the woods. No matter how far you walk, you never get out of the woods. In the woods, there is a prison, and the woods are full of prison guards and dogs and guns. When Soap thinks about the zombies, he thinks about how there's no way you can go that the won't find you. Even the fairy tales that Becca used to read to him, Ali Baba and the 40 zombies, Open zombies, Snow White and the 7 tiny zombies. Any place Bill thinks of, the zombies will eventually get there too. He pictures all of these places as paintings in a gallery, because as long as a place is just a painting, it's a safe place. Landscapes with frames around them to keep the landscapes from leaking out, to keep the zombies from getting in a sky resort in summer, or those lonely gondolas, an oil rig on the sea at night, the Museum of Natural History, the Playboy Mansion, the Eiffel Tower, David Letterman's house, Buckingham Palace, a bowling alley, a raw doormat. He puts himself in the painting of the flower garden that's hanging above the bed where he and Kari are sitting, and it's sunny and warm and safe and beautiful. But once he puts himself into the painting, the zombies show up just like they always do. The space station, New Zealand. He bets his dad thinks he's safe from zombies in New Zealand because it's an island. His dad is an idiot. People paint trees all the time. All kinds of trees. Art is supposed to be about things like trees or icebergs. Although there are more paintings of trees than there are paintings of icebergs. But who paints zombies? So thinks someone should paint zombies. I was not in prison for very long, so says. But Mike and I was not really that bad. We did not hurt anybody. You don't look like a bad guy, Kali says. And when Soap looks at Kali, she looks like a nice kid, a nice girl with nice kids. But Soap knows you can't tell by looking. Soap and Mike were going to be rich once they got out. The two of them had it all figured out. They were going to have an excellent website just as soon as they figured out what it was going to be about and what to call it. While they were in prison, they decided this website would have been about zombies. That would have been fucking awesome. HungryZombies.com, LonelyZombie.com, NakedZombie.com. So you married a zombie.com, zombiecontingencyplan.com of TheWalkingDead.com, but just a few of the names they came up with. In this opinion, people will go anywhere if there's a zombie involved. Cool people would have gone to the site and hooked up. People would have talked about old horror movies or about their horrible temp jobs. There would have been comics and concerts. There would have been advertising, sponsors, movie deals. So would have been able to afford art. He would have bought Picasso's and Vermeers and original comic book art. He would have bought drinks for women, cute for bisexual, bionic, women with unpronounceable name and weird habits in bed. Only by the time Soap and Mike and the rest of their friends got out of school, all of that was already over. Nobody cared if you had a website. Everybody already had websites. No one was going to give you money. There were lots of guys who knew how to do what Soap and Mike knew how to do. It turned out that Mike's and Soap's parents had paid a lot of money for them to learn how to do things that everyone could already do. Mike had a girlfriend named Jenny. Soap liked Jenny because she teased him. But Jenny really is not important to this story. She was ever going to fall in love with Soap. And Soap knew it. What matters is that Jenny worked in a museum, and so Soap and Mike started going to museum events because it was a cheap way to eat dinner. You got dry on crackers and wine and martinis, and you had to do was wear a suit and listen to people talk about art and mortgages and their children. There would be a lot of older women who reminded Soap of his mother, and it was clear that Soap reminded these women of their son. What was never clear was whether these women were flirting with him or whether they wanted him advice about something that even they could not put their finger on. One morning in prison, Soap woke up and realized that the opportunity had been there and he had never even seen it. He and Mike, they could have started a website for older upper middle class women with strong work ethics and confused, resentful grown-up children with bachelor degrees and no jobs. That was better than zombies. They could even do it. Okay, this is. I will tell you why I went to prison. But first you have to tell me what you did do if zombies showed up at your party. Tonight, I ask everyone this. Everyone has a zombie contingency plan. You mean like with colleges? Just in case you don't get into your first choice, Kali says. She holds an eyelid open, puts her finger to her eyeball, and pops out a contact lens. She puts it on the table beside the bed. She does not take the other lens out. Maybe that eye is not scratchy, so my eyes are not actually green. The breasts are real, but by the way, I don't watch a lot of horror movies. They give me nightmares. Leo likes that stuff. Bill sits on the other side of the bed and watches her. She is thinking about it. Maybe she likes how the world looks through one green contact lens. My parents keep a gun in the fridge. I guess I would go get it and shoot the job. Or maybe I would hide in my mom's closet, behind all her shoes and stuff. I would cry a lot. I would scream for help. I would call the police. Okay, Will says. I was just wondering, what about your brother? How would you protect him? Kali yawns like she is not impressed at all. But Bill can see she is impressed. It's just that she is sleepy too. Smart, Bill. You are smart and you are cute and you are a man of the world. That's dangerous. You know this way. This was my house. All along. You knew Leo was my brother. Am I such a bad liar? Yeah, Bill says. There's a picture of you and Leo over on your parents' dresser. Okay, Carly says. This is my parents' bedroom. They are in France, building bicycles, and they left Leo here. So I threw a party. Serves them right if someone burns their house down. I feel like we have known each other for a long time. Will says even though we just met. For example, I knew your eyes were not very green. I know stuff about you. We don't really know each other very well. Kari says, I keep trying to get to know you better. I bet you did not know that I want to be president someday. I bet you did not know that I think about icebergs a lot. Although not as much as I think about zombies. Will says, I would like to go live on an iceberg, Kali says, and I would like to be president too. Maybe I could do both. I could be the first black woman president who lives on an iceberg. I would vote for you, Will says. Will, Kali says, don't you want to get under the covers with me? Are you intimidated by the fact that I'm going to be president someday? Are you intimidated by a competent, successful woman? Will says, do you want to fool around or do you want me to tell how I ended up in prison? Door A or door B? I am a really good kisser. Your brother, Jenny and Mike used to go off and kiss in the museum where Jenny worked, but Soap never kissed Jenny. Once in college, Soap kissed Mike. They were both drunk. Man kissed man in prison. White man made out with black man. Becca used to make out with her boyfriends out on the beach while her brother hid in the dunes and watched. In the zombie movie, a zombie ate Becca's lips. You don't ever want to kiss a zombie. Oh shit, that's right. Kali says, so maybe you should just tell me what you did and we can go from there. Soap and Mike and a couple of their friends were at one of the parties at the little private museum where Jenny worked. They drank a lot of wine and they did not eat much except some olives. Jenny was busy and so Soap and Mike and their friends left the gallery where the wine and cheese were laid out, where the docents and the rich people were getting to know each other, and out into the rest of the museum. They wandered away from the party and they got farther and farther away. But nobody told them to come back and nobody showed up and asked them what they were doing. The other galleries were dark and so nobody dared Mike to go in one of them. They wanted to see if an alarm would go off. Mike and the alarm did not. Next, Soap went into a gallery. His name was not Soap then. His name was Arthur, but everybody called him Art. Haha. You can't see anything in the gallery. Art felt stupid, just standing there. So he put his hands straight out in front of him in the darkness and walked forward until his fingers touched a ball. He kept his fingers on the wall and walked around the room. Every now and then, his fingers would touch a frame and he did move his hand up and down and along the frame to see how big the painting was. He walked all the way around the room until he was at the door again. Then somebody else went in. It was Markson, who went in, and when Markson came out, he was holding a painting in his arm. It was about 3 feet by 3 feet, a painting of a ship with a lot of mast and sails, lots of little dabs of blue, little pupil on the deck of the ship, looking busy. Holy shit, Mike said. Markson, what did you just do? You have to understand that Markson was an idiot. Everyone knew that. Right then, he was a drunk idiot, but everyone else was drunk too. I just wanted to see what it looked like, Markson said. I did not think it would be so happy. He put the painting down against the wall. No alarms were going off. The gallery on the other side of the hall was dark too, so they made it a game. Everyone went into one of the galleries and walked around and chose a painting. Then you come out again and saw what you had. Someone got a Stewart. Someone had a Mary Cassatt. Someone else had a Winslow Homer. There were a lot of paintings by artists whom none of them knew, so those did not count. Art went back into the first gallery. This time he was slow. There were already some gaps on the gallery walls. He put his ear up against some of the paintings. He felt that he was listening for something, only he did not know what. He chose a small painting. When he got it out into the hall, he saw it was an oil painting, a blobby blue-green mass that might have been water or a person or it might have been tree. Woods from very far away, something slow and far away. He could not read the artist's signature. Mike was in the other gallery. When he came out with a painting, the painting turned out to be a Picasso, some sad-looking freaky woman and her sad-looking freaky dog. Everyone agreed that Mike had won. Then that idiot Markson said, I bet you can't walk out of here with that Picasso. Sometimes when he is in houses that don't belong to him, so feels bad. He should not be here where he is. He does not belong anywhere. Nobody really knows him. If they did, they would not like him. Everyone always seems happy and as if they know something that Soap does not. He tells himself that things will be different when the zombies show up. You guys stole a Picasso, Carly says. It was not an important Picasso. We were not really stealing it, Will says. We just thought it would be funny to smuggle it out of Jenny's museum and see how far we got with it. We just walked out of the museum and nobody stopped us. We put the Picasso in the car and drove back to our apartment. I took that little painting too, just so the Picasso would have company. And because I wanted to spend some more time looking at it, I put it under while the other guys were helping Mike get past the party without being seen. We hung the Picasso in the living room when we got back and I put the little painting in my bedroom. We were still drunk when the police showed up. Jenny lost her job. We went to prison. Markson and the other guys had to do community service. This is the weirdest story I have ever heard, Kari says. If I were not so drunk, I could not believe you. Why is it that everything is so such sadder and funnier and so much more too when you are drunk? I have not told you the weird part yet of the story. Although maybe he can try to show her. Did I tell you that I used to be on my school's debate team? Kari says. That's the weirdest thing about me. I like getting in arguments. The boy with his head under my chair. I kicked his ass in a debate about marijuana. I humiliated him all over the map. Will does not use drugs anymore. It's too much like being in a museum. It makes everything look like art and makes everything feel like just before the zombies show up. He says, the museum said that I had not stolen the little painting from them. They said it was not theirs. Even when I explained the whole thing, I told the truth, and everyone thought I was lying. The police asked around just in case Mike and I had done the same thing somewhere else, at some other museum, and came forward. Nobody knew the artist's name, so finally they just gave the painting back to me. They thought I was trying to pull some weird scam. So what happened to it? Kari says. I have still got it. My sister kept it for me while I was in prison. Will says for 2 years since I got out, I have been trying to find a place to ditch it. I have left it a couple of places, but then it turns out that I have not. I can't leave it behind, no matter how hard I try. It does not belong to me, but I can't get rid of it. My friend Jessica does this thing. She calls stop leaving. Kali says, when someone gives her a hideous shirt for her birthday or if she buys a book and it's not any good, she goes into a store and leaves the shirt on a hanger. See the book on the shelf. Once she took this crazy, mean parakeet to a shoe store and put him in a soup box. What happened to your friend Mike? He went to Seattle. He started up a website for ex-cons. He got a lot of funding. There are a lot of people out there who have been in prison. They need websites. Cool, Callie says. That's like a happy ending. I have got the painting in the car, Bill says. Do you want it? I like Van Gogh, Kali says, and Georgia Oak Cafe. Let me go get it, Bill says. He goes down the stairs before she can stop him. Kali probably thinks that he won't come back. The guys on the couch are watching somebody's wedding video now. He wonders what they would think if they knew Kali was upstairs in bed, waiting for him. The dancing girl is in the kitchen with the boy under the table. The girl in the dress is out on the lawn. She is not doing anything except maybe looking at the stars. She watches Will go to his car, open the trunk and take out the little painting. Out behind the house, Will can hear people in the pool. Will felt this peaceful in a long time. It's like that first slow part in a horror movie before the bad thing happens. Will knows that sometimes you should not try to anticipate the bad thing. Sometimes you are supposed to enjoy the peaceful part and the night and the moon and the girl in the dress and the sound of water. Bill stands on the lawn for a while, holding the painting, wishing that Becca was here with him, or Mike. Bill takes the painting back upstairs and into the master bedroom. He turns the light off and wakes Carly up. Has been crying in her sleep. Here it is, he says. Bill, Carly says, you turn off the light. Is it the ocean? It looks like the ocean. I can't really see anything. Sure you can, Bill says. There's moonlight. I only have one contact lens in, Carly says. Will stands on the bed and lifts a painting of the garden off its picture hook. How can a painting of sunflowers be so heavy? He leans it against the bed and hangs up the painting from the car. Water, iceberg, zombie, woods. How are you supposed to tell what it is? It makes him want to die. Sometimes there you go, he says. Take a look. Do you like it? It's beautiful, Carly says. Bill thinks maybe she is crying again. She says, Bill, will you just lie down with me for a little while? Sometimes Soap has this dream or a dream about zombies. Maybe it is not about any of those things. He dreams that he is in a dark room. Sometimes it's a small room, so small that he could stand in the middle of it and touch all of the walls. Sometimes it's an enormous room and he could walk for hours or days or for his whole life and never find a wall. The room is utterly dark. There are people standing in the dark with him. They stand up against the walls. If he puts his hand out, he will touch them. Or if he puts his hand out, there won't be anybody there. Hey kid, hey, Rio, wake up. Rio, we gotta go. Soap is lying on the floor beside the bed, holding up the dust ruffle. He has to whisper. Kali is asleep on the too big bed, under the covers. Rio uncovers. He wriggles forward toward Bill. Then he wriggles back again, away from Bill, a 7-year-old. Who are you? Rio says. Where is Kali? Kali sent me to get you, Rio. Soap says, you have to be very, very quiet and do exactly what I say. There are zombies in the house. There are brain-eating zombies in the house. We have to get to a safe place. We have to go get Kali. She needs us. Rio stretches out his hand. Soap takes it and pulls him out from under the bed. He picks Rio up. Rio holds on to Bill tightly. He does not weigh a lot, but he is so warm. Little kids have fast metabolism. The zombies are chasing Kali. Rio says, that's right. Soap says, we have to go save her. Can I bring me my robot? Rio says. I have already put your robot in the car, Bill says, and your dinosaur t-shirt and your basketball. Are you Wolverine? Rio says, that's right, Wolverine says. I am Wolverine, let's get out of here. Rio says, can I see your claws? Not now, Wolverine says. I have to go to bathroom before we go. Rio says, okay, Wolverine says. That's a great idea. I am proud of you for telling me that. Something that you could try with zombies, but which won't work. Panic. Don't panic, remain calm. Call the police. Take them out to dinner. Buy them drinks. Buy them flowers. Give them raises. Ignore them. Tell them your dreams. Tell them jokes. Tell them you love them. Rescue them. Wolverine and Rio have a backpack. They put a box of Cheerios and some bananas and Rio and Kali's parents' gun and a Game Boy and some batteries and a Ziploc bag full of $20 bills from the closet in the master bedroom in the backpack. There's a late night horror movie on TV, but no one is there to watch it. The girl in the dress on the lawn is gone. If there's someone in the pool, they are keeping quiet. Wolverine and Rio get in Wolverine's car and drive away. Kali is dreaming that she is the President of the United States of America. She is living in the White House. It turns out that the White House is built out of ice. It's more like the whitest, greenest, bluest house. Everybody wears big fur coats, and when President Kali gives presidential addresses, she can see her breath, all her birds hanging there. She is hanging out with rock stars and Nobel Prize winners. It's a wonderful dream. Kali is going to save the world. Everyone loves her, even her parents. Her parents are so proud of her. When she wakes up, the first thing she sees before she sees all the other things that are missing besides the oil painting of the woods that nobody lives in, nobody painted and nobody stored, is the empty space on the wall in the bedroom above her parents' bed. Thank you very much for listening.